Everyone, this is Lisa Something Beautiful Handcrafts, and this is just a quick video to explain to you how this turban was done on the Addi Express King. Okay, now this is not really a tutorial on how to do this. I'm assuming that you have a basic understanding of how to use your Addi, and there are a ton of really good videos about how to use your Addi. So if you can make a tube, you can do this. If for some reason you're watching my videos and you like my videos and you want me to actually talk about how to make it, I definitely can do a full-length tutorial. But a lot of times I'm just kind of giving rough outlines and not whole tutorials on things. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, this is a turban, and it's really popular for the Addi to make those turbans that are like turban headbands. People love those. They're really cute. But this is not a turban headband. This is an actual all the way around turban. And so here's what happened. The turban was I want to say it's a Bernat pattern. It's a free Bernat pattern. And you kind of do, I don't know, it's not really a rib stitch. It's like 3 knits and 2 purls and then 3 knits again. But anyway, it's like a modified rib stitch. Maybe I should call it rib stitch. And you make a strip of flat knitting that is about 41 inches long. And then on the Bernat pattern, they show you how to fold the 2 ends. Well, first of all, to find the middle. Put a little pin there so you know which one's the middle. And then they have you fold the 2 ends across each other, stitch them across the sides and a little ways across the top, and then turn it inside out. And you have the turban. And so, of course, depending on, how you stretch it out across here, or just, of course, how long it is, because the shorter it is, the less bulk you have on the sides. If you don't like the bulk, or you can tuck the bulk under, you can turn these a little more. But however way you do it, it kind of changes the way the turban looks, basically. So that is the basic turban. Now, of course, this is something I've knit several times by hand. But since I've been talking about this since last June, I've been having tendonitis. And I've actually been having flares of tendonitis for the past several years. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why I started doing more weaving and a little less knitting, and why the spinning has been so really hard. And I kind of had to make a decision as to what I was going to do because I do not want to get myself in a situation where this is like a chronic issue. So I could weave these strips, and I probably will. So at some point, you're probably going to see the same video again where I've woven the strips and I'm explaining to you how to make the strip. At any rate, I'm doing it now on the Addi and the Centro, the circular knitting machines, which have been wonderful things for me over the past year. I really appreciate having them, and the sock machine. Now, here's the big difference I want to tell you about. Let me put the cowl in front of you. This is less of a cowl because I'm not closing the ends, and more of a scarflet. And you know that I am a great fan of scarflets, especially when it comes to Angora fiber, because you don't really need a full Angora scarf a lot of times. A little something warm around your neck. And so here's the scarflet, and it's going to be one of those that crosses over like that, and it has some kind of cute buttons or cute pin or closure basically for it. Now, the thing about these 2 items, and anything that comes off the Addi or the Centro, if you've seen my video about can you make socks on the Addi or the Centro, is that the gauge of these particular items is about 5 stitches per inch. Okay. So when you're looking at the Bernat pattern, it asks you to knit, I want to say it was maybe size 8, US size 8 knitting needles. So you're definitely getting something a different gauge. It's probably more like 10 stitches per inch or something like that. It's probably about double that. So you needed 41 inches. And my first mistake was I didn't take my time and adjust for the gauge. I just kind of guessed. So I did the math for how many rows I thought I would need, and then cranked it out, and it was super long. And I realized I needed like 50 less rows. And I finally did the math for the gauge, and it gave me the number of rows I needed for the Bernat pattern for the length. Now, that was for the Bernat pattern. That was for the size head. For my size head, that would have been still a little too big. So I had to make some adjustments for that. And I wrote down what I did with the measurements, and I looked over, and I can't find the paper as usual. Let me see. Okay, so what I would suggest to you is that you go ahead and take a measuring tape around your head. Start from your left side, measure, well, yeah, start from like your left ear. Measure all the way around your head to the back of the nape of your neck, across the highest point of your forehead to the right ear, and then have a look at that measurement and maybe subtract a little bit if you like things that are snug or things that are loose. That depends on you. And then that should give you an idea of the amount of inches, or if you're doing this in centimeters, that you would need. Then keep in mind that when you're using the Addi or the Centro, you're talking about 5 stitches per inch. And I just like maybe 2.5, 3 stitches per centimeter, something like that. At any rate, do the math for that. Then that will tell you how many rows you need to achieve that length. Make sure you do that. So for the turban, I did 125 rows. And I still feel like I probably should have did 120. It would have been a little snugger, but it's great. And I'm probably going to wear like a scarf or do-rag underneath mine anyway to keep the yarn from catching my natural hair. All right, now for the cowl, basically, it is a matter of how long you like the cowl. And I like to have them just enough that I could probably do it twice around my neck and pin it close. Or I could do it once, fold it over, and it will not add too much bulk to the top of my coat when I close it. And so for this particular cowl, I want it with 155 rows for this one. Now I got to the end and I was trying to decide what to do, because I didn't want, as an ensemble, I didn't want to do anything to the, let's push this back a little so you can see it better. I didn't want to do anything to the cowl that would, or scarflet, that would take away from the turban. Okay. So I don't know. I wonder if it would look cool with some kind of fringe hanging off the turban. Okay. Anyway, I did one in the rib stitch. I took them off the needles. Well, I took them off of the Addi needles, put them on circular knitting needles, and knit a rib. I don't know how I feel about that. I thought it would look different than what it actually does. I don't know. On this one, I did a regular crochet bind off, single crochet bind off. And I thought maybe for the single crochet bind off, I would put fringe across, because I'm a big fan of fringe. So I'm still undecided yet. But if you look at my Facebook or Instagram, when I finally decide, you'll know when I know. So basically, that's just it's real skinny, real basic kind of formula for making these cowls and making the turban. So go forth and run with it. You might want to make a matching pair of the fingerless mitts. And basically all the fingerless mitts I like 40 rows because I kind of like my snug. You may need like 43, 44. I'm a size 6. So that gives you kind of an idea of how 40 fits on me. And so basically when you have your tube that comes off like this, you fold it over, you stitch up, you find the place where your thumb is going to be, and have a good, idea of how much space you need here to fit that thumb right at the joint here. You might want to measure that. Make sure you got that measurement. Then stitch down here. Bam. Or you could take the tube and fold it this way if you want to make it longer than 40 inches and have them, go down to the wrist. If you do it this way, then you have to bind off the top and the bottom instead of binding off in the space where it's closed, where you would just close off the whole thing. When I do mines, I like to do it this way. I bind off the top and the bottom. I usually do this one in a single crochet like this. And I do this one in some kind of picot or some kind of cool crochet at the top. And then you will have a set of items. Excellent. Okay, that was really nice sweet and short video. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks to my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the like button and the notification buttons, and leave a comment down below if you have any other questions, or you just want to tell us what other projects you do on your Addi or syndrome. Take care.